Hey, what's up, guys? So another AMA. This is Community AMA number 8. Today is September 13th, 2024. And yeah, it's been a while. Time flies. I think it's been almost a month since we've had a AMA number 7 during the base launch. And that was only like less than 4 weeks ago. But yeah, we're pretty close to token 2049. So that's, what, 3 days away for you, Vladimir? You're flying out on the 16th to Singapore?
Let me check. No, actually even earlier, on 15th.
Earlier. Oh, that's right. Because you lose like
Yeah.
half a day coming from Europe. But yeah, just the usual agenda today. We're going to go over some of your questions. We have product updates, a lot of product updates, actually. If you guys have been watching our Twitter feed, updates on partnerships, marketing, community stuff, just sort of, housekeeping things. So yeah, where should we start first, Vladimir? You want to start about product first, or you want to go over the questions that Degenerati actually posed in the chat?
Oh, we have questions already. Let's see.
Yeah, maybe because these are pretty specific, we should probably just do an overview first and then go through these questions as we hit these topics.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, let's do that. Do you want to start with any introduction, or should I go? Yeah, because there was a lot of things to talk on, both in news and I think you can never start just with the news with OpenAI before going to product. Just
see some news.
Yes, now we have O1 preview model, and it's surprising in a lot of different ways. So this is a model from OpenAI, and I was surprised to find out that basically one of its key features is that it leverages chain of thought, because that's the thing that we are using by default and ask default command. And in our reports for so in as detailed, we use it for about half a year now, in reports for about a year. And that's kind of crazy that OpenAI comes with this only right now. So of course, it's it's great that we are ahead of them, but being so ahead, that's kind of suspicious. What's going on with OpenAI? And yeah, there are some interesting thoughts, things that they have found if you read between the lines. So yeah, they are sharing less and less details about their models with each new write-up, because back at the times GPT-1 had a really detailed write-up of on the whole process. GPT-2 paper didn't have a lot of details on what data it was trained in, from what I remember. For GPT-3 and whatsoever, there's almost no data at all.
Maybe we can give some background or context for those newer members. So let me just go to my screen real quick. You can see my screen here?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, by the way, we kind of cleaned up the docs page, so you'll see some recent changes, some recent improvements to messaging, to organization, some of the pages. But yeah, the docs page is getting quite lengthy, which is good. So you'll see a lot of different features, and they're all pretty well organized now. But yeah, we have 4 different models, technically 3 if you're just looking at our LLM. We call it Alpha LLM. And what Vladimir is referring to is we have something called reports, which is being rolled up into Ask2. Vladimir, can you kind of explain the differences between reports and Ask2, what model it's using and what the original use case for reports was, and how it's being rolled up into our chatbot?
Yeah. So if reports used to be and they still kind of are until agents out, basically a research/demo feature. So first to automatically get on developer perspective, the purpose of reports is take some specific market topic and provide you the current overview of it. And the idea is that like, yeah, you get like regular updates on meme coins, so you can see like how the situation changes, and you can always get like a snapshot with the most up-to-date knowledge like on this specific token. Meme coins, crypto market in general, like precious metals, AI development, whatever, or some like more narrowed down topics like Trump-related cryptos or whatever else. So yeah, it was like an interesting like new feature. I was experimenting with different ways of doing like chain of thoughts, combining chain of thoughts with different like data sources, and that was kind of like the first iteration. And then we had Ask, that was some sort of like step back, because like it's not so sophisticated, but it is much faster, and because like it basically involves less computation to get the result. So like OGs, like old AlphaCat users probably remember that reports used to take like up to 15 minutes or so to generate, and like Ask is working in a matter of seconds. Now we have Ask 2, which is essentially a more advanced version of reports. And actually it's like when we were saying that it works kind of like OpenAI's O1 model, it was some kind of oversimplification actually, because like, yeah, for generating replies, it works kind of like that. So there's like a hidden chain of prompt that like helps the model to come up with better, more accurate answer, eliminate hallucinations, etc. But there's also one more thing like regarding how the initial data for the context are prepared. And that's like another thing that we are not going to disclose unless someone else will come up with this like idea as well. And then we'll say, okay, that's the thing that we were using for the last months. Yeah, but actually, like, yeah, when I was saying that Ask2 is identical to OpenAI O1s, actually, like, it's not so simple. We have like a couple of more interesting details in terms of how preparing like those large amounts of data sources so that they keep the model stable and like reduce hallucinations, etc. And like later on, I already have a general understanding how to improve this whole thing even further, and that's what we'll see in Agents V1, but it comes like later this year, probably in November, I think. So yeah, one interesting thing is that like I was talking about this for quite a while, and that's like one of the benefits that we are having by running our own like hardware and infrastructure, is that like maybe I can share my yeah, I'm not prepared to do this in prompt, but it doesn't make sense to basically one of the charts on OpenAI's page about O1 models shows like one interesting thing that I was also mentioning on previous AMAs is that they started testing like the length of chain of thought compared to the accuracy of the answer that was like given on the question that was given to the model. And like there's if we look at the log scale, there's like almost a straight line. So basically the longer you give the model to think, the more accurate the answer will be. And like they tried to do this like for as long as possible given like the context of the model, and it was getting like more and more accurate over time. So basically like we are not hitting the plateau here. So like the more computation we throw at the model, the more we give it like memory and like compute time to think, the better result will be. So basically the more you wait, the better the result. And that was the idea of the reports. Yeah, to like process as much data as possible, do this like in multiple steps, and only show the end user the like the result in 1% of the text, which is like a little bit more accurate. That's how Ask2 is working, and that's like the idea that you'll be like on a whole new level with agents. Yeah, and the cool thing about like AlphaCat, the cool thing about us is that like everyone else will have to pay for that per token. So like they will have to pay their like AI provider for doing this extra computation, for getting any extra point to IQ of their model to get better result. And that's not the case in our for us, because like we have our hardware and we basically like we have the user waiting for the result, and like as long as user like is ready to wait, that's the time we will be like spending on this computation. And like basically with AI agents we'll like reach this point with like the more you're ready to wait, the more sophisticated, the more like advanced, the more accurate the answer you're like looking for will be. And yeah, that's kind of really cool that the things that I was like mentioning as like big ideas, long ideas on previous AMAs, I now like see them reflecting in like recent OpenAI's blog post. So like, and I saw that some like other people are thinking about this as well. So this, so like on one hand, that's certainly like not the road to AGI. On the other hand, if you just want to make our like current tools as useful as possible, it's certainly like the way to go. And yeah, I'm really excited because like, yes, so far it seems that like everything that I was like, there's also like a lot of findings that like we don't share of those same A's that like going along with the thoughts that we are sharing. And yeah, the fact that the thing that we are sharing seem to be correct, most likely things that we are not sharing will also turn out to be correct. And yeah, that's like really fascinating. And I'm really eager to release new features.
Yeah, Vladimir, can we take a step back and define what chain of thought is? And how does it make the answers smarter? Like, do we know, or is it a bit of a black box still?
Yeah, so chain of thought is known for quite a while. Maybe like not the term itself, but like it was known basically since GPT-2 came out. That like basically if you provide the model more context, and if you provide like if you structure the prompt in such a way that like the model doesn't have to come up with the answer immediately, but like we give the model like the space, the opportunity to like generate some kind of arbitrary text, no matter what. Basically, to let the model think aloud, it will result like in a better text. I remember when I was like experimenting with GPT-3, not even 3.5, not even like instructed, it was like I think 4 years ago, or kind of like that. During some astrophysical research, I was experimenting like with some like specific benchmarks of labeling some astrophysical data, and it turned out that like if you just try to solve this task with like GPT-3 directly, you get like 38% accuracy, kind of like that. And when you use chain of thought, just like make the prompt a little bit longer, insert like bad and good examples, etc., and feed this into a model, your accuracy almost doubles. It goes from 38% to like 65 or 70 about this. And yeah, it was true for GPT-2, GPT-3, and it seems to be staying true for all those models up to the current date. And we don't know exactly how does this work. We could try to speculate that like since transformer models don't have any built-in state, so like previously before all those transformers GPTs came out, we had LSTM, recurrent networks. And the cool thing about them is that like they had a hidden state, some kind of actual memory that was accumulating, overwriting itself as it like gets new information, etc. So there was like basically a part of the neural network that actually has the memory about like everything that happened in the past, like all the inputs that were like in the past. And transformer isn't like that. It doesn't have a memory, so it's like stateless. You put some context in, and like it spits out the result, and nothing being saved afterwards. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And
so sorry, the point is that if anybody mentions chain of thought, if you read about chain of thought, if you hear about it, we offer that. And is it tied to Eclipse model only, our most comprehensive model,
It
or
just does
our
this
biggest
stuff.
model?
It does this automatically. Yeah, that's basically the only difference. It does this automatically and does this like in Telegram. That's probably the most convenient case.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to worry about this. And as I've said, that's still just like an intermediate step before the agents. The idea is to like, have being able to get like, this kind of multi-step reasoning just in a single click for the user. And
Got it.
Yeah, but
So
of
chain of
course,
thought.
yeah, but of course you can do this like manually using our API in like multiple steps. You just like a bit less convenient and spends more credits.
Got it. So chain of thought is available for all the three models across both ask and ask2 functions.
No, it's different. So if you use an API, you could basically, if you use Eclipse, it uses chain of thought automatically. If you use like Versa on Axis, you can implement chain of thought using API and like system prompts, etc. For Telegram bot, the idea is that like it's simply not convenient to like do this kind of like chaining like manually, because you will have multiple messages and they should go one after another. So you'll have to like type a command, wait, and type a second command, and wait, etc. So the idea of ask2 is that like it does the stuff automatically under the hood, and you just type what you want and get the result. So like in Telegram, if you're using the bot, just use ask2, and like eventually I think we'll just deprecate usual ask, and it will always be using chain of thought. If you use an API, of course you could like use Eclipse model to get chain of thought out of the box, but at the same time you can also like implement it yourself using our API based on like any other model.
Got it. Okay, cool. I think that's a good intro to like news and how we're kind of keeping up with big tech AI. We're quite in line with them, even though we're not really we're not following their trends. We're doing this for crypto solutions, so it's kind of interesting to see that we have so many similarities.
Oh yeah, there was one thing that I should. Yes, sorry for interrupting. One little thing that I should mention that it's like really important, especially when it comes to like deciding like how we are different. And the interesting thing is that like all those improvements in O1 improved only coding and math benchmarks, and they improved them by a lot. But when it's interesting to like OpenAI share this info publicly.
Yeah, I saw that.
When
it comes to English.
When it comes like, first of all, so they run synthetic tests, like just benchmarks, and they also run like an actual polls where like users have to choose like what they like them more. And when it comes to like the natural writing, so like first of all, even when like choosing between like math tasks, so like on synthetic benchmarks, the difference is drastical. If you if you just like do some kind of test and see the results, if you actually show those answers to people and ask them to rate which answer is better, there's still a difference, but it's much smaller. And when you show the people like just personal English writing, it's the other way around. So the new model is actually even worse. So this is also like an interesting thing. So we could try to like speculate. I don't think it doesn't make sense to speculate. It's just like an interesting thing that like previously, even like we actually found out, I think, because you weren't happy with the like writing style of GPT-4, and that's how you like found out of like eventually and like join us on this journey. But it's interesting, like now a year later, we are actually like witnessing a downgrade in this regard. And OpenAI themselves admitting that like it's getting worse, it's getting like more AI slop. And that's like an interesting opportunity for us, for sure. I have some ideas how we can try to make the model like more engaging and more lively. And we'll certainly, you will see this. Basically, there will be like a way for users to influence the model training. Yeah, we'll see this somehow later. I can't give an ETA right now. Yeah, but that's like interesting. Like previously, people were like unhappy with how boring like censored models are, and now we have the official number that it's now even worse. That's really interesting.
Yeah, my main interest when I first started using AlphaKek, about a year ago, was one, you were integrating with 4chan data, which is where my primary place, business finance, my primary place for finding alpha, for finding original ideas, for a lot of like Web2 like finance, so stocks, commodities, like RWAs. So that was for my IRL work. So one, it was the right data integration. It was the only tool I could find that was actually integrating with the main source of my alpha. Two is uncensored. So, I had issues using, other ChatGPT, for example, for writing the content or researching the content. And three was like, automated, right? So you can get reports. So those are three, big reasons why I wanted to use this platform. We've obviously grown a lot since then. And I don't, use it for content creation anymore, but more for research. So yeah, I think we can move on to products. A lot of development since last month. I can't believe like we only unveiled like alpha alerts like a week ago, right? I think it's been like only a few days. Feels like a journey. But we can discuss alpha alerts. We can maybe start off with like why we chose Solana to give some background, and which features of alpha alerts we started rolling out first, right? The NVD, triangulators. So maybe we can start off with why Solana, Vladimir?
Yeah, absolutely. So why Solana is on one hand a good question, because we are talking that it's been traded like we are like originally Ethereum token, and now we are trading on Base, and we recently expanded on Base. Why we are starting from with Solana, and it's purely from like the data and from the challenge perspective. So like eventually our AI tools, like even if you'll stay just an EVM only token, services that we are going to provide should cover all the popular chains and like decentralized markets due to like different reasons. So like first of all, just the convenience. So like even if you're like Ethereum holder and you bought AlphaKek and our Ethereum tokens, if you see something like, if you see a market opportunity on the other chain, our tools should be able to help you to seize this opportunity. And yes, it's just first convenience. And second is that like in the grand scheme of things, speaking just like from scientific data analysis perspective, etc., I'm convinced that like having a holistic view when we keep an eye on like not one specific crypto ecosystem / chain, but like on all of them, at least like all of the biggest popular ones, is important to like get the full picture and understanding. Because like I'm pretty sure that like by closely monitoring Solana, you can better understand dynamics on Ethereum as well. So of course you should like track Ethereum first and foremost to get more info about Ethereum. But yeah, what I'm saying is that like if you track other chains, you will be getting more information about your chains, because you will be able to see how funds are moving, how like distribution shifts, etc. And second answer is like, second reason is extremely simple. It's simply because like Solana has a crazy high amount of transactions like per second per minute, and this is a really nice way for us to detect all the potential issues with like scaling with the software architecture in our code for Alpha alerts, because our idea is to be able to like to track and monitor and analyze every DEX transaction in real time, and like on at least like on all the popular chain, Ethereum base, Solana, and then we'll see we have like Tone, we have Aptos, or whatever it's called, like Algorand. So we'll see. Well, yeah, those like emerging ones. And
it's the casino. It's where the liquidity is, all the volume is. It's the meme casino.
Yeah, so first of all, like, Solana is meme casino right now. That's where money at. But just from the software development perspective, it's also like a very easy way to figure out whether you have bottlenecks in your code. So, for example, when we were generating this like video for NVD, it like quickly became obvious that I like have some issues with like single thread processing, and I need to split some processing in multiple threads, etc. And like if I was doing the same thing with Ethereum, I like wouldn't see those like issues immediately, and like later on, let's say like a month later, I have already written like a lot of code, and now it turns out that I actually need to like to split it into different like processes modes, and now I need to really think about how to recombine this, how to like do inter-process communication, and there's like I need to like change a lot of things just so it keeps working. And Solana is simple, like you just start and it immediately shows you that you're not quick enough. And now those issues are fixed. And if you don't have any issues with like Solana performance, that means that we'll be able like to monitor everything on Ethereum and Base, basically without any performance issues at all, like as well.
Battle testing us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like we're keeping an up on. I can take a look at the numbers. Yeah, so as alerts is still like an experimental stage. We are not persistently storing the data. If you remember, like Triangulator, for example, it like shows you only the last 12 hours. Like we regularly, whenever new version of alerts came out, I like reset all the previous data we have in the database. But like since the last reset, I can like tell you that we have scanned like 52,000 unique tokens and 12.4 million of unique wallets and 31.5 million transactions. Yeah, so there's like really a lot of stuff.
Since when?
Since whenever I restarted alerts last time, and it was it's in seconds.
Yeah, it isn't. It doesn't matter too much. But the point is, every transaction, every wallet, in real time, every transaction, every wallet, and all in real time, we are tracking on Solana from here on out.
Yeah, and of course, as soon as we are happy with the state of things on Solana, we are going to expand to Ethereum first, Base second, and then we'll see, like, depending on the state of the market. Either we'll start like expanding to more chains, or we'll just either extensive or intensive. Either we'll like expand to other chains, or we'll just like keep building more and more like advanced features, tools, indicators, alerts for those three chains. We'll see.
Yeah. Vladimir, can you, maybe without giving away too much, can you explain how or why the way that we're aggregating or indexing the Solana data is unique, or why it's difficult, why it's easier for us, maybe why we have a moat there? Because I know we did a lot of work in the way that we structure the data, and it's not easily to replicate.
Yeah, the idea for alerts is like, yes, there are like multiple things I kept in mind when like designing this whole thing. And the first idea that we shared like in our Telegram posts, I think a couple of times, is that like the user who's like using our tools should be able to get all the most important information about the 5,000 most popular tokens in under a minute. That's basically a goal.
TLDR,
Yeah.
of the market.
So I get in TLDR of the market in 1 minute, like TLDR for this like specific moment of the market, of course, because like the market is ever changing. But yeah, the idea is that like, and the way we want to achieve this is to like, first of all, most of the features will likely not be on demand. So like right now we have like this triangulator that's like on demand feature. What does it mean is that like you run command and like after you run command, it shows you some data. Most of the alerts won't work like that. The idea is that like AI algorithms should determine themselves what and when to show you, and like do not waste your time all the other at any other moment. So the
You're talking about personalized.
And
you're saying they're personalized.
Not only personalized, but like in general. So what the idea is like, So first of all, some of the stuff will be like simply opinionated. So you'll be using like some custom indicators based on ours and like experience of our like core community and other people that we are like consulting with regarding how better to design the system, like some experienced crypto traders. But the idea is that, for example, when we like, let's compare to the Dex screener to make it simpler. Like you open the Dex screener, what you see like a huge table of like coins that are currently like trending, and you see like a bunch of rows and columns for each of the token, and like you see like volumes, you see like 5 minutes difference, like 3 hours difference, 24 hours difference. You see liquidity, you see like how long ago did the launch. You see whether now they also have paid ads. So now you see how many did they pay for like an extra boost on the screen, etc. So there's like a lot of overwhelming information, and like you need to scan through all of this. And first of all, and what does it mean is that Dex Screener, for comparison, provides to you a lot of information about a lot of tokens, and all this information is basic, and it's often covers only some specific point of time, some specific trend. And our idea is that we will be working the other way around. We'll be showing only some very specific metrics, and we'll be showing to you like some very like specific tokens, and our metrics will be like more sophisticated and complicated than just growth like in the past hour, in the past like 5 minutes. So like this NVD metric that we like showed you is actually like the simplest thing that we can like do. That's like the purpose of the demo, is to like basically show that we can take all those tokens that are like from Solana and like analyze them real time, and actually like record a video of all those thousands of transactions happening per minute. But that's just the beginning, and this is still like a low level overview. And the idea is to get like a higher and higher and higher level overview, unless it just shows you like the top 5 picks, explains why they are likely to be top 5, and then like you just make a decision based on your risk profile whether you want to like go with them or not. And we'll also be using this data like for the future readjustments. That's the difference. So like instead of having like a race of like a lot of very basic data about like all the tokens, we'll be computing like much more sophisticated, like complicated metrics, and then showing just them to you and doing this only for some specific tokens. And yeah, that's basically the way to go. So instead of like this extensive approach, it will be like more and more intensive.
Got it. So yeah, we're tracking, all transactions, all wallets in real time on Solana. And then when it came to devising the methodology for these alerts, we are taking, tried and true like shitcoin trading strategies from our core community. So we have basically a roster of like advisors and OGs who, some of them are, they work for pretty well known like trading bots, sniping bots. Some of them have their own alpha groups. Some of them, trade, full time. And can you walk us through like how we came to the decision of starting out with triangulators and NVD, which is normalized volume delta? Why is NVD a lower hanging fruit to start off with? Maybe we can answer that.
Yeah. So for NVD, I was interested in like looking at it myself because like Dex Screener and other services don't simply like show it to you, and I wanted to take a look. Yeah, because like basically the things that we've wrote like in the post about NVD, about like the fact that like it allows you to take a look at the single number and like understand like how big the buy and sell pressure is. That's basically I developed it because like that's the feature that I wanted for myself, like first and foremost. So like one reason is that like it's really simple. So this is just like take three numbers from like each trade and like combine them together. The thing is that like you should do this for every token, like for every transaction, and you have like hundreds if not thousands transactions per second. So you need to do this at scale. But yeah.
Can we walk Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I wanted to define CBD and NVD. Basically explain to them what NVD is.
Yeah, the idea is that like we just take a look at the volume delta. Yes, like first of all, again, like compared to like Dex Screener, I'm saying Dex Screener, but basically with other chart service, CMC, CoinGecko terminal, whatever. So they will show you the amount of, for example, of like the volume that people are buying and the volume that people saying, and like sometimes it's like around equilibrium, sometimes you see a shift, and I think the thing is just like by looking just at two of those numbers, you usually don't get any insights outright. And that's basically the thing that I wanted to like to explain previously. Is like the idea is that like instead of showing the bunch of just raw numbers like for all the tokens like it shows like the screener does, we take all those numbers about like every transaction, every DEX trade, then do some additional number crunching under the hood in real time for all those millions of transactions, and show you not those like raw data, but insights that are like coming from this raw data. And this is like, just one of them is that basically when we take a look at how many people buy and sell, it would be nice to first of all immediately calculate what's like the difference between them. So I don't have to do this like mental math every time when I see like every specific pair. Because like, for example, this is useful, especially now when like most of the projects are using like market making volume bots. Never like they can generate millions of volume, but with the delta of any market making bot like is zero. So like basically, first of all, when we compute this delta, you remove all the bots from the equation, and like MEF bots, market making bots, both of them. We'll talk about MEF in a moment, by the way. The first thing is this. So you take a look at the numbers. You immediately first of all, you get like instead of two numbers, you get one. That's always like better because you need to like think less. And like if you have 2x less numbers, then you could scan like analyze 2x more tokens at the same amount of time, and that's like our idea that you could analyze more part. Can analyze like the bigger chunk of the market during the same like time that you did before our EA tools came out. You get one number, and it's still not great because like right now, you like remove the bots from the equation, and you now have only one numbers instead of two. But it's still not great because like you don't understand the whole scale of it, and as we've wrote, like I will just recite what we've wrote like in this tweets. Like if you, for example, you see like the total buy and pressure of like 15K in the past like 5 minutes, and the idea is that like if you are talking about some really huge coin like Bread or whoever else, for them like 15K will be a drop in the sea, and you like won't be able to like to really see a difference given like the size of the liquidity pool, the market cap that they hold already, etc. It could be just a single buy. But at the same time, if you see like this stuff in some freshly launched token and like it's consistent, and of course there are like a bunch of other red flags you should check for, and we'll be automatically checking for all of them like soon. Yeah, but the idea is that like it would be nice to understand the scale. That's why we like after we computed the delta, we divided by the total volume, and this way we get like a qualitative metric of how the market like is going right now. So basically, if you see like plus 15K, it like you can understand, is it great, is it like big or small difference? Because like if the token is small, like this 15K is a huge difference. If the token is big, like this 50K solve nothing. When we divide it, we like immediately get a metric. And like, yeah, maybe we can like open the video like on the full screen. We can like just take a look like on the vertical axis, and you can see that it goes from minus 0.2 to 1. And yeah, the idea is that like if it's above 0.2, then it's big. And that's it. You don't need to do like all this, like a lot of mental math right now. You don't like, so like previously you had to check like, okay, how many, what's the volume, like how many tokens are buying, how many tokens are selling, what's the current, what's like the total volume, what's the market cap, what's the liquidity, pool size, etc. You had like to compare all these numbers to get the picture. Now you have like just a single metric. And like, is it above 0.2? Great. If not, then like, okay. And of course, like later on, we'll have to check like for derivative, because like, let's say it's not 0.2 yet, but like you look at the chart to see that it's actually like going up, and it will cross 0.2 like soon. So yeah, like the next step would be like not just tracking this like specific number. So like you have this number, but you still have an issue, because like you need to track how this number changes over time. So like our next iteration will be like checking like the derivative of this like metric over time. Sorry if I'm like getting too nerdy. But yeah, the idea is that like we'll get like on an even higher level. So now you have like one number that like shows you the relative dynamic of how like the equilibrium between like buying and selling pressure changes over like the last 15 minutes. And you will still get like only one number, but now it will be like conveying even more information to you, and of course to like AI models and alerts and alpha chat, because they all will be using like this the same information as well. And yeah, we'll be like getting step by step, going to like higher and higher and higher level, and basically providing you like more and more and more insights about like tokens and like market and whatever is trending, using like the less and less amount of text. So like you will basically like scanning the whole market faster and faster and faster, like while like cognitive load will be like going down and down. Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to give like a TLDR, I guess, for like dummies. That's I guess what I'm good at. I think what we're trying to do, the use case is how to scan the markets and look for tokens that have momentum, and very quickly and in a very efficient way. So yeah, Vladimir explained cumulative volume delta. That just means it's buy pressure minus sell pressure. Like if you're on Dex Screener and you're trying to look at many different tokens and you're trying to compare, which ones have buy pressure, which ones have momentum. It's very hard to do that because you're comparing apples to oranges, right? You're looking at different tokens at different sizes. There's a lot of market making. There's a lot of wash trading happening. So it's very hard to kind of filter which ones do have momentum. So the idea is to take that cumulative volume delta number, the CVD, again, which is buy pressure minus sell pressure, buy volume minus sell volume, and then normalize that data. So you divide all those figures by volume. That's NVD. So yeah, when Vladimir said like if a token has a $15,000 purchase, that could be a really big purchase if it's a new launch. But if it's like a blue chip, then it doesn't really matter. So you have to do a lot of mental math when you're comparing, bigger versus smaller tokens. Taking the CVD and dividing it by volume normalizes all of them. So you can just compare them through one number, NVD, normalized volume delta. I do have a question, Vladimir. How do we want to display this data in the future? Is this going to be tied to is this going to be its own alert? Is this going to be a visual sort of report? Our users are going to be able to generate this video, which really is like it's a summary video of what happened in the last hour, right? How do we want to display this in the future?
Yeah, so we will. So like first of all, this is still like highly experimental thing, and like the interesting stuff is like the more you work with the data, the more insights you uncover in the process. But yeah, I think the way it will work, at least like for the short-term perspective, we'll probably release it the week after we return like from Singapore. Is that we'll add charts first of all. So like right now we have only like sentiment charts for market sentiment from like Web2 sources. What we are gonna do is to add the ability like to plot NVD charts and probably chart with some other metrics to maybe like RSI, we'll see, and price for any Solana token like first. So basically, like, yeah, 2 comments. First one, get just the chart for some specific token. And second is to get like not the video, because like I think video is like interesting for the demo perspective, but like a picture that shows you those like the behavior tokens. But the difference is that like it will be showing you arrows. So you will be able to like to see like not only the current like coordinates of some specific tokens, but also like which direction it's moving. Like for example, you see something like with NVD like 0.15, and we like discussed that like if it's below 0.2, it's like not really interesting. But you see that like it's moving up really quick. And it was like it was like, yeah, it's right now it's 0.15, but it was 0.05 just like a few minutes ago. And like if it's going quick, so if it's going up so quick, then it's like certainly worth taking a look. And probably that's the thing that we'll like implement soon automatically. Yeah, as I've said, so like right now we're just like checking this like buy and sell pressure equilibrium, and like later on we'll like get a higher level and we'll be checking for the speed of which like this equilibrium shifts. So basically like the short answer is that like we will have 2 type of charts. One chart will be showing like printing only one specific token, and another chart will be printing you all the trending tokens, like you have on screenshots, but like with arrows.
Yeah. The end goal is to just detect trending tokens faster than anybody else. Because right now, I mean, I don't know what your guys' methodologies are, but like I'm looking at Dex Screener, I'm looking at the trending section, and I'm always late, right? So, when we say it's a trending of trending chart, it's really tracking like breakouts. You know, if you use like Web2 like stock terms, we're trying to detect breakouts, and yeah, within that you probably have to do a little bit of manual monitoring to make sure the breakout is quote unquote confirmed. But that's the idea. It's breakouts for shitcoins, on dexes. Vladimir, can you kind of explain this example? We spotted ticker FWOG rebounding as FWIF started pumping both frog memes.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that will. I think if I remember correctly, it happened about like 35 to 40 seconds. Maybe you could try to like pause the video and then like manually set the time code. See if I remember correctly. Let's try to like set it to like scroll to 35. The interesting thing. Oh yeah, it's happening like right now. Okay, so you could see. Yeah, you can scroll. Yeah, so there's like VIF and FWOG is or whatever. It's like to the right, a bit to the right and down. More to the right.
Oh, here, yes, here.
Yeah. So there's like those two, and you could try to like bring scroll video back just by a couple of seconds. Yeah, and then and from now you could like take a look. Yeah, okay. So, and from now on, let's just take a look at how they are moving. So you could see that like all the other tokens like kind of chaotic, and those two started like moving up at some point of time, like almost immediately. It's like FWOG was quite a popular like token at the moment already. So like it had a huge volume, but it was like mostly sell pressure, so it was selling. And we had this like interesting moment. So like roughly at the same time when like it started pumping up, another like frog token also like started like ramping up in volume while like staying positive. So it's like really interesting to see. So like there's as I've said, there's a lot of things we can do with the data. And like when we like present all this NVD stuff, we should keep in mind that like it's just the simplest thing we can do right now. So like the idea is to like start with like something that's like as simple as possible and go to more and more complex, to more and more high level features on the go as we like explore the data and understand it better. And we are just starting to scratch the surface, and we already see like with like a lot of interesting findings. So we'll see like more in the process. That was like just the random thing that I spotted. Like for the sake of the demo, I just like recorded 1 hour of all those transactions like on all those like one tokens, and I just started to like watching what interesting would I spot, and I saw this, and
So now we're not only seeing one token breakout, but we're seeing two tokens breakout with the same meta. So that's that's connecting two different seemingly uncorrelated tokens by looking at the stats. I mean, I guess if I was like really deep into like frog tokens, I would notice this like meta is popping off. But I mean, if you're looking at it from like a macro point of view, you have to look at the data. Yeah,
we're not trying to say, at least yet, that like there is like some actual correlation. That's the thing that we'll be like researching and we'll present to you eventually. But one interesting thing that we like did previously and like never showed to the public, but we'll show eventually, was just like using the clustering tokens based on just their logo to see if they both have a frog on the logo or food, whatever. So the idea is to like try to cluster tokens based on both what their meme is about and also how they behave in the market, and see if there's any kind of connection. Yes, there's.
Right. So you're describing the recording of tokens and using our tech to label them things even down to the mascot level. Like, is there some property of this token, like the mascot, that is trending. It's another way of saying we're in dog season, or we're in cat season, or in some new season that we're not really sure of, but we can detect it early.
Yeah, so like it's not like certain that like such correlation actually like exists and that it's meaningful. But even if not, just knowing that like it's not meaningful also like very important. Yeah, because like our goal is like get all this data and like understand it on as deep level as possible, and at the same time, like on the one hand, on the data processing side, on the AI side, and like on the user facing side, is our goal is like provide us high level overview as possible, so you don't have to think about all this stuff. Yeah, so I guess like this meta will be like changing a lot, and like this is just one of many directions that we are like working on. And yeah, the idea is that like we'll be working on all this, like a lot of those things, starting from like very simple and slowly going to more and more complex. And like each time when we see that like we reach the point when one of those features is like good enough so it can be shared with like community, with the users, we'll just release it and go working on the next one. And we'll just like
So that kind of answers Degenerati's question. Would you shed some light on your future tooling instruments that you plan to develop or refine? So yeah, I guess to answer that, we're going top level, more lower hanging fruit first before we develop more sophisticated. Vladimir, how would you describe like how we decide which features to roll out next?
Yeah, I guess we'll like structure this in cycles, and like first cycle will be adding features until we see that like we came up with some like pretty clear like algorithm number of steps on how to like trade using just like just AlphaGex. Like let's see, okay, so like we have metrics A, B, and C, and like our strategy is like filter by B, then like choose A and do C, and like we came up with a list of like really interesting tokens, kind of like this. And once it's done, there's always like a room for improvement. And I think the way we'll go is like first of all we'll keep adding those like small tools and features until we will feel that like there is enough of things for the community, for the users to work with. So like there's no such a situation where you have all these tools and like, okay, so like at the moment they are like not useful for me. I need to wait for the market time and like when they will start capture something. So like first of all, we'll keep adding these tools until like we reach the point where at any given moment of time, you as a user know how to like use them right now immediately. So basically there will be like no such situation which like you don't have any like tool at hand that can help you, whatever it is. So whether like you want to see what tokens are pumping, or if you want to see one request that I like saw in another group chat is like, for example, the text screener doesn't show, is that like it will be interesting to see like delta volume for tokens like for 30 days. So like how do like what behaves better on like a really huge time scales. So like a lot of people like are doing like meme coin trading, but like what are actually like blue ticks of like tokens and meme coins? What is stable? Is there anything that's like stable at all, or like more stable than the others? So
volume wise,
we'll keep like adding these features until we'll like feel that they are sufficient. It will be basically like the phase one. The phase two will be adding all this knowledge to like Alpha Chat. So we have these tools and we have a clear picture of like what are like scenarios of like how you use them. And after that, we just like feed this to the AI. And if you're not sure yourself, if you're a new user or if you're just lazy, whatever, you can just like type any kind of question regarding crypto markets on some specific token or whatever, and AI will just leverage all these tools, alerts, all this data automatically on its own and provide you the result. Will be the second phase. And the third phase, we'll decide based like on the market conditions. So either at this point we'll just collect enough feedback from you and from ourselves on like how to expand this feature further, and we'll go over this, or we will start expanding to Ethereum. You'll see, or maybe both. Yeah. So like, it's like really hard to come up with like really detailed like long-term plan, because like a lot of it is a research work. But yeah,
that makes sense. No, it's, you know, we did phase one, which is collecting the data. Phase two, we're curating the data into very digestible, you know, common ways to look at volume, for example, which everybody's doing. And then we're, you know, now augmenting sort of our advisors and OGs existing trading strategies. So, you know, looking at volume, these are things that, you know, our community wants. The triangulator was community requested. You just talked about, you know, looking at volume over a 30-day, you know, time horizon. I think that screener tops you out at like 24 hours. So that's a bit limiting. It would be interesting to see, you know, volume over a longer time horizon, because maybe some of that volume is market made, and, you know, these projects turn off their market maker. So, you know, volume drops and, you know, it would tell a different story. So yeah, that makes sense. I think we have to just look at the data, organize it in certain ways, enrich them, and look for edge. Until we find that edge, we just have to keep doing R&D. But once we find the edge, we can start productizing that and creating very like templated alerts that people can trade off of, right? So this is just part of the process. And yeah, I like how we can use this alerts data to enrich our alpha chat answers. So yeah, if anybody prefers, you know, natural language querying, your questions about specific tokens will be a lot, you know, smarter. Like if you research a specific token, you'll get an answer about like NVD, right? The volume delta, and if there's a breakout, you know, today or tomorrow or yesterday. I wonder if one day we'll be able to use our Web2 data in Fractal, you know, the Web2 data, the news, you know, all the tens of thousands of documents in our knowledge base for alerts. Like, do you see our Web2, you know, news and documents enriching alerts and making alerts smarter? Or is it just one way right now?
That's the thing that we'll have to figure out, like, first of all. And I suspect that like it will be like a bit too noisy for tokens specifically, but it will be great at trying to find and detect smart money, basically. So like we know like when we had any kinds of sentiment shifts like over the last year, because like we have all those like tens of thousands of documents, and now we can like, yeah, I was like mentioned this previously on AMA. So like the problem with Web2 is like sites are closing down. So like the information that was like available online becomes like unavailable, and we have like websites like news articles. We have like the whole archive of like 4chan biz data of those like threads from August last year. And we have like TLDRs, like we have messages themselves, we have TLDRs of them, we have like sentiment data. So like it will be interesting to see, do we have like, yeah, blockchain data is not being lost and like all the transactions are there. So it will be interesting to like try to match the time and see, do we have any like wallets who are like more or less consistent at like predicting those sentiment shifts. This will be like an interesting thing to see, and like this is just one ways of tracking smart wallets, and we are working on others. And yeah, Like the moment we are like happy with like V1, you will see them too quite soon, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to convey that, we have an advantage of collecting a lot of, I think we have over 100,000 documents, Web2 news from all over these channels, whether it's mainstream news or, some socials. Obviously, there's 4chan data as well. We could, try to expand that later on. But what we're detecting Meta's kind of bottom up through the alerts. We're looking at tokens, and maybe these sentiment changes reveal themselves through these purchases. For example, when Donald Trump says people are eating, cats and stuff, right? They're barbecuing cats in the U.S. Maybe cat tokens pop off. But what if we can have a more top-down approach, which is, there is a sentiment shift, right, in politics, in the news, where a lot of people are talking about, cats now. So it's just a different, I think, perspective for detecting, sentiment changes. One is bottom up, and the other one is top down. And I'm interested in seeing how we can combine, these two types of data in the future to get an advantage, because I think a lot of us are doing that naturally. We know that if Elon says something in the news, there's probably going to be a token somewhere that, or a trend somewhere in pump fun that we'll try to piggyback off of that. So we can try to connect those two things. I think it's time to move on to Triangulator. So let me go to the page here. Again, this is another community requested feature. It's working right now. Maybe Vladimir can give like a quick sort of background on how this came about and what the use case is.
Yeah, so the way it works is like extremely simple. So like since we track every buyer and seller of every token, and we like record this data, as I've said, our end goal is to have this like extremely high level AI curated overview that like to reduce the cognitive load, etc., to let you like scan the whole market as quickly as possible. But like in the meantime, like while we are still like on journey towards this goal, the idea is to take those like pieces of functionality that like we have under the hood, and all those small like building blocks of like the whole AI machinery, and give you the direct control over like these small blocks of code. And like Triangulator is one of those things. It lets you just like triangulate specific orders. So like it's just like one of many triangulators. So we'll have like more. We'll probably have the next one tomorrow before I depart to Singapore. We'll see, or like just in the coming days, because like it's 90% ready, and I think so basically we'll get it soon. The way this specific one works like is extremely simple. So like what it does is checks the buy history of specific token that you list on Solana. For now only on Solana, but like on EVM chains coming soon too, and cross matches everyone who bought those tokens, and like not holders. That's like an important detail, but like buyer, like any kinds of buyers. So like even if person has already sold their tokens or moved them to another wallet, you will still see this. And like this way you could try to track, first of all, like some KLs and celebrities. So like for example, if someone is promoting some specific token, it would be interesting to see like if there are actually like wallets that bought like every one of them, and see like either find their original wallet or find out that like no one actually like was buying all three, and try to find some potential, like is there like for example a team behind like this same team behind all these four tokens or not. And there are like a couple of cool features that I'm specifically happy about regarding these features. Like first of all is that we have a fuzzy search. That means is that like for example you want to check for intersection like of buyers of 4 different tokens, but it turns out that there are like no such matches. There's like no wallets that bought all 4 of them. And in this case, you will like get the list of like best matches, like not the perfect, but best. So like you will see like everyone who bought like at least 3 of those tokens, and everyone who bought at least 2, and like down the list until it like fills top 10. And another cool thing is that like it checks for every market on Solana. So like if the token is traded like on Radium, on Meteora, on Orca, or even on
Curve?
Pump Funds bundle curve, yeah. You will see this, and this is also like interesting because like you see some tokens that just appeared on Pump Fund, and like you suspect that there can be like some people behind it, and the way it works, you can like take some other like old launch tokens that you think can have like connections with like this specific one and check whether it's the case. And yeah, like for now, the data is limited like by the last 12 hours, so you can only use them for the recent launches. But this is like a temporary limitation. It will be lifted soon. And yeah, once it's done, you will be able like you will get like an insanely good like tool for getting like insights for specific wallets. And we have as I've mentioned, we have another triangulator like 90% ready to use, and I think I'm not gonna share it yet. Let it be like a mystery. But yeah, what I want to see is that like it will be a little bit more advanced, and it will let you to quickly find people who are like sharing the screenshots of their trades. Yeah, I'm not sure how
like I am right
now.
Just kidding.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because like blockchain is transparent. I'm like.
So are you saying? I mean, I guess we don't want to get too much into it, but people, KOLs, influencers are sharing screenshots of their trades all the time. So I guess I'm not sure how much I want to say about this. Yeah, maybe we'll just talk about this our current triangulator. It's essentially a whale watching tool. So you're essentially finding your own whale wallets as opposed to relying on other people's whale watching. Because when you whale watch, I mean, you'd have to do a lot of manual work, or you have to have an inside tip on like, hey, this wallet belongs to this person, this KOL, this team. But you can actually triangulate and detect leads, whale leads yourself. It's a giant whale hunt essentially. But if you find a really good whale wallet and you're doing it discreetly, then that can be profitable long term, especially if they have a great track record.
Yeah. So this is as I say, that's just like a small building block like of a bigger system, and the idea is that like later on we'll like expand this functionality into like detecting like some nasty shit like bundlers, so people who are like faking like successful like launches on Pump Fund and then like quickly dumping later on, and to see like if their wallets are connected, and later on though, as I say, we are gonna like automatically cluster tokens and see if there's a way to like cluster them into like classes, whatever they will be. Not sure like what exactly. Maybe most likely they'll be like just unsupervised clusters, just trying to see if there's like if they're like aligning into some arbitrary structure, and like or like manifold, if you wanna speak nerdy language. And if there are like any clusters within this manifold that are like confidently profitable, so to say. And the thing is, we are gonna do the same for wallets too. It's like we're gonna like just track their activity and figure out whether we can like cluster some tokens based on their behavior, etc., etc. And ideally, it will be like eventually it will turn out not only into a well tracking tool, but also a tool for like personal recommendations. So basically the tool that will be able to help you specifically to analyze like what you should improve in your behavior and your strategies to perform better. Yeah, but
Okay, cool. I think okay, let's cover this quick generality question around triangulator. Could we expand this tool to EVM? Are there any ETAs? I mean, I guess it would expand this to EVM is when we expand the entire alert system, which depends on like our data integration. So I guess the question is like, when would we want to expand beyond Solana? I think, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think like the simple answer is like quality before quantity. So yeah, the moment we see, as I said, that like we see that like the tools we made like consistently like so basically that they're convenient and and that there are, first of all and foremost, I think that there is enough tools. So like right now we have a lot of like ideas and tools that are simply like not finished yet that we want to implement. So yeah, I guess the idea is that like we keep building until we see like, okay, that's enough. There's like plenty of tools to get started. And once like we reach this point, we'll like expand to EVM.
Yeah. I mean, the hurdle isn't high because, I think most, I guess, alpha alert bots are casting a very wide net. They're collecting as much data as possible and they're recommending as many things as possible because they hope that at least, a few of them are winners. And then those winners get a lot of publicity and, right, they get shared around and, they were found in this particular group chat by this particular bot. But if you look at a lot of these alpha bots, really, they're tracking a lot of the same metrics. So I think, our hurdle is really just being slightly, more comprehensive or slightly faster or getting a little bit more edge. I think we'd be ready to scale that to other, chains and see how they do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're kind of going over time, so I'm going to try to speed run a lot of this stuff, but
yeah, sorry,
maybe we can finish up the product section. No, it's not your fault. I mean, these are great questions.
Vinny.
Yeah, what's up? Who's this?
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, this is Darth Infonov.
Oh, hey, Darth. Yeah, we got an OG. Darth has been here from the very beginning. Hey, what's up?
Just since you mentioned the edge, I was just wondering. I think I asked this question in the chat also. Do we have plans to also look into the social media stuff? I'm not sure. I apologize if this has already been answered. I joined a little late. Like the tweet and all those things. And I think Vlad mentioned that we have some limitations with the API and we cannot get all of them. But is there any option to combine the blockchain data with the social sentiments, like what's happening in the KOL Twitters and maybe in the Telegram or Discord or something like that, and give a kind of a comprehensive picture that it's not just the volume is increasing, but the social score and everything is also increasing for this particular token or something like that. You got my question, right?
Yeah. I know part of the question. I know part of the answer, but yeah, maybe I'll let Vladimir.
Yeah, the short answer is yes. And like, I guess it's just the question of scale and when we see it pays off. One thing that we are gonna do first is, so like previously, like a few minutes ago, I mentioned like checking for red flags and that we'll be doing this automatically. So yeah, one of the first like changes that we, one of the first things that we are gonna like start doing automatically. Yes, I feel like first of all, we have two kinds of Twitter integration at the moment. So like whenever I use Ask, Ask is aware of like AlphaCake AI's Twitter feed. So like whatever like tweets we did, it knows them. That's like the first thing. Only our account, like no other accounts. And second thing we have is like we support TLDR command. TLDR command supports like Twitter tweets and threads, so it can provide like it's not officially released yet because like it's not like completely finished. you'll see like why later on. But it's already like supports Twitter threads. One thing that I think we're gonna add next, not sure about the timeline, but I think like it will happen like quite soon, is the simple like red flag checks for Twitter accounts. So like it won't be trying to determine whether like account is good or bad, but it will be like trying to determine like if it's obviously bad or not. And the way it will be working is to basically like checking its whole past history and trying to detect whether it was used previously like for some other project. And the logic behind this like is obvious. So like if you see someone with like you see some scammer, like he, for example, like paid to get like 10K followers, bot followers on his account, and then like he just launches a rug coin, renames his Twitter account like for this rug coin, runs this like for half an hour, exits liquidity, rugs everyone, like renames his account on Ucoin, launches a new coin, and like keeps doing this forever. Yeah, so like the first thing that you're gonna do is like just to start detecting like those wallets, like to filter like obvious red flags, and and basically go from there and see, because like the issue is that like we are like analyzing all the Solana tokens, and soon we'll be like analyzing all the all the Ethereum tokens and all the base tokens, and there are I forgot, I said 50K or whatever. So we have, so like in the past 2 days, we have 52 unique tokens. And that means like really a lot of a lot of accounts. And if you want to scan like Twitter data on the same scale you scan on-chain data, it will just cost us like probably like not millions of dollars, but like hundreds of thousands, and we'll have to pay to Elon. Yes, I think like the idea is that like we take on-chain data first because it's transparent, narrow down the list of what you want to analyze, and then when we have this like narrow list, only for this like narrowed list we'll be like checking Twitter data. Kind of like this. Yeah. So the short answer is that like we already have like Twitter integrations, and we are gonna have more, and like we'll have more for TLDR token, for TLDR comment as well. It will have even better Twitter integration than it has now. But yeah, it's just like a bit lower priority at the moment than on-chain data.
Yeah, it's good TLDR. Yeah, targeted Twitter API calls because it is gated and it is also expensive. So makes sense. Maybe we should run through the rest of the product updates just really quickly. Like, alpha agents, I guess we've already sort of mentioned that, but alerts sets a stage for that. I don't know if you want to go over user stats. Maybe it's not really like that valuable right now. But yeah, alpha visuals is like by far the biggest stat line.
I think I can like share just a couple of random facts that I like found out when like analyzing like alerts and like some false positives, etc. So like first of all, we all like are usually thinking about Solana as like the chain that is like free from bots, because Solana doesn't have a memory pool like Ethereum does. So basically, the way it works is that like when someone submits their transaction to be executed on Ethereum, other people like can see this transaction before it's been minted on the block, and this way they can like send their transaction with a higher gas fee, and front run it. And like previously, Jito, a bundler for Solana, had its own like mempool, so there was like a possibility that you like can front run transactions that are using like this bundler. And when Jito like saw this, they removed the mempool from like their infrastructure. So there is no way to track those transactions in the same way as it was happening on Ethereum. But still, it turned out that like mevbots are still quite popular on Solana. It just like they have to have much more sophisticated setup. So basically, to be able to run a mevbot on Solana, you need to have your own validator node. So like the entry level like is much higher, but like mevbots are still there. And yeah, that's just like an interesting thing to see. So like when you do high slippage trades, just like keep in mind that you still can be meved. It just like if on Ethereum, like people will never skip the opportunity to like to mev you. On Solana, it should happen that like whoever runs the mev, so it should be the mev bots node turn to validate transactions like in this specific block. So like you have less chances, but it's still possible. And another thing is that like it's crazy to me when I just like look at the chart of like biggest transactions, inflows and outflows on Solana outside of PumpFun. It's crazy how stupid some kinds of rug pulls and that people are still like trading them. So they're like, yeah, I think I'm not going to dive deep in the details. So probably like it'll be like filtering them anyway. It just interesting that the quality is so low that we'll have to filter like more than 99% of tokens. But that's also like a great thing, like for the end user. So like they don't have, sorry again, so they won't have to worry about tens of thousands of tokens. Yeah.
So what's crazy, the amount of rug pulls relative to like quality launches, or the way that they're being rug pulled?
The way, because like some of them are like so obviously like fake charts, or some of them are just like launches where like in the first block along with the minting like someone deploys the pool and in the same block just buys like a really high percent like of supply, and then just wait if like at least someone will buy some amount of tokens and then just sells everything. And like
I think
and the same wallet keeps like doing this over and over and over like automatically, it seems. And it's just like zero mind. It's just like, who are those people who are like doing like less than zero due diligence? So like you could see that the holder distribution like is crazy. Is that like liquidity pool is not locked, etc. So basically like every possible red flag is there, and it still doesn't stop those people. Maybe those are bots, like not people, but still like developers of the bots should have checked for at least one of those red flags.
Yeah. So the goal for us is to standardize that rug check, because I think a lot of people are not doing their due diligence, even the basic stuff like checking holder distribution. So we want to sort of integrate that directly into every alert or recommendation.
Yeah.
Well, not recommendation, but alert. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, meme generator. Like, let's move on to meme generator.
Yeah, on the meme generator side, we don't have like a lot of the updates at the moment. So we are training more custom characters and memes, and they will be released in due time. Yeah, but for now, as we mentioned, I think on the previous MA, the idea is to like introduce some kind of like development cycle. So like previously, at some point of time, we like kind of got carried away by like meme generation, because like it's like really funny and engaging process, but there should be like a balance between like alpha and keg. So like we did like a lot of work for keg. Now it's time to concentrate for alpha. And like for meme generator, we have like a really huge list of things that we'll like eventually do when the time will come. Yeah, but for now we'll just like we'll just probably like optimize speed, maybe add a couple of new memes, but like don't wait for any like drastic changes / updates like in the next I would say like 3-4 weeks. But later on we'll certainly like we have ideas and plans how to like make more dope tech, and you'll see it. But,
is it too early to talk about the social media posting?
I think
Probably.
Yeah, I think we can like briefly cover this. Probably like as an experiment for I don't know, for premium or for elite. Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is like most likely we'll have a Twitter bot as well. Yeah, and it will be doing this kind of the same stuff as Telegram, but you will be able to call it inside any kind of Twitter thread. And it will allow you to like first of all flex with your skills in any Twitter thread.
It's just a new market because not everyone goes into our Telegram, generates an image, then like posts that back onto Twitter. So one way to get more exposure is to do native Twitter meme generation. So we'll just leave that at that because I think it's a bit early and there's a lot of things we need to do still for that. I will answer Degenerati's question about a month ago you teased a base project. Is it still coming? So yes, that project is still coming. Because we're still rolling it out, I don't want to actually say the name of the project, but if you guys look in our group chat, he mentions the name. So for this particular base project, we created probably our best or one of our best AI models. Meme models. And right now it's in private beta. So it's in a testing group. We have a testing group with a handful of admins, mods, and KOLs from that particular project. And they're essentially generating a crap load of memes. So I think we're up to like 2,000 images in that group chat. And it's being slowly distributed through their contacts, sometimes on social media. But it's more of a test group. We want to gift this to the community. I think one of the major advantages of our meme generator process is that it doesn't necessarily cost anything besides like time and some training data. We can churn out like meme AIs in perpetuity, and not just for like projects and mascots, but like for any meta, right? If it's a particular, Chudjack, Wojak is a good example of that. Chudjack does have a token, but it predates the token. So there's metas that we want to piggyback off of. Maybe it's Trump, maybe it's, some other meme that isn't tied to a project. We can kind of vamp attack and jump on that trend. But we do want to, hand this off in a more formal way and help this community decentralize their content creation and scale it. And I think it could be a huge advantage for a project. Actually, we did officially start working with a pretty hyped Solana project. We finished the meme generator. We can't disclose the name yet because it hasn't been announced by them. But it's been a massive success in terms of the quality as well as the impact it has had for this particular project. It really, really helped drive their narrative and 3x their token price. What was my point to this? I had a point for bringing this particular project up, but I forgot what it was.
I think the general idea is that, like, as I've said, we are like, for now, we are like not expanding the meme tech like from the technical perspective, but we are doing this like from the business perspective. Right?
Yeah, and we want to be like strategic in who we choose. So to answer Degenerati's question, that is still being rolled out. We do have a pipeline of projects, and we're being picky. our decision to work with them is really based on the complexity of the training and the marketing exposure, right? Who they are, how big of an effort would they put into collaborating with us, shouting us out, etc. We have also formalized a lot of the I guess like the sales process, the pricing model, for example. We are charging a setup fee, which again is based on complexity of training, marketing exposure. It ranges pretty widely from, let's just say like on average 1 ETH, but we want to go up or down. 2, there is a monthly data cost. Previously, we weren't sure whether to charge this or eat it and maybe make it up on the setup fee, make it up on the marketing exposure. But it does make a lot of sense to charge a data cost because, we have to assume these projects can last for a very long time and they'll need a lot of, bandwidth. And I think one of the best ways to charge a quote unquote subscription is through a GPU rental, right? So if you look at other AI data costs, the way they structure is dedicated GPU rentals. We can do the same thing because we are running our own local, infra, and it is a nice selling point for a project to have their own dedicated GPU. It's pretty cool to have something like that. And each GPU tier, so they'll have basically probably 3 tiers of GPU rentals based on capacity. The top tier will get the most amount of images, per day or per month, right? So we can separate the GPU tiers by image cap. So the pricing model is becoming a lot more formalized, and we're actually putting together a sales team. I think I mentioned this before, but this sales team has started to do a lot of outreach. It's about 3 people. If you look at a lot of other utility projects, they have B2B outreach teams. So we have, a small team, but they're very experienced. They've been with the project for quite a while. They know, the tech very well. Very passionate about it, and they're building a lot of deliverables. So pitch decks, landing pages, demos. I think it's an easy sell because we have a great moat here. Like, who else in the space is creating, is custom training memes for projects at a really decent cost. And actually the sales process is really, really in the favor of the project because we can put out a initial prototype, same day. So if they give us really good quality training data, really a nice batch of images, we can turn around in a few hours time in a day with the prototype. So it really de-risks the project's decision-making. Like, what is this going to look like? Can they deliver? Then they build an emotional, attachment to their meme generator. So the conversion rate has been very, very high when it comes to potential clients. I think the biggest issue is just a lot of projects are CTOs, so they don't have the budget for this. So we want to target bigger projects. But hey, long term, when we really streamline and optimize the training process, we do have plans for that. We can take on a lot smaller projects in exchange for marketing exposure, which is great. So what we're essentially creating is an ecosystem of memes, right? If you look at PAL, they built an entire $200-300 million project based on custom chatbots. So they have, what does it mean when you join the PAL ecosystem? It's really they have that CoinGecko PAL category, which is, I guess, harder to get, but we'll eventually get there. And they have their website, and they have joint announcements, right? I think that's really what makes up an ecosystem for AI. So we can easily replicate that for memes, which is more of a blue ocean for us. But yeah, if you have any questions, if follow-up questions, let us know on that. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Hey guys, Vinny and Vlad, can you hear me?
Hey Johnny, Hey, what's going on, dude?
Okay, yeah, I have a quick question with regards to content creation. So as you know, a big component of content creation is the script component, right? So writing the script, places like TubeMagic charges about like $49 a month and so on, and people leverage ChatGPT as well, just so that they can generate a script and then obviously add their own touches, because the editing component takes so much time and so on. And so the
You're on mute, Johnny.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Was I on mute the whole time?
No,
All right, so
you're back.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so what I was mentioning was with regards to content generation. So a lot of other companies kind of they charge about like $49 a month to kind of leverage AI in order to generate the script, because the script is a big part of content generation, and that way you can use the remaining portions of your time to kind of edit and add your own touch and so on. And so I was kind of leveraging AlphaTech AI to just help me with some of the script writing, right? So I just wanted to share some. I know you're still ingesting a lot of the data, and you're kind of focused on Solana and so on. But for example, this morning I would ask, like, tell me about crypto project Spectre AI, and it would say, I couldn't find any relevant information about Spectre. Or for example, like Pal AI, write me 1,800 words with humor, make it easy to understand, and it said the information is currently. Unfortunately, the information currently available in AlphaTech Fracto is insufficient to write the response and so on. So it's kind of just wanted to just get your take on that script writing component. You know what I mean? So I know you're starting with Soluna's majority of those tokens, but some early stage AI projects is kind of, will Fracto be able to kind of absorb all the information on Google and on the company website for some of these junior companies? That's one of my main questions. Yeah, and on a side, another question as well is with regards to your AI news search. So another thing, I know you mentioned the search, Vlad, to use the search feature. So I kind of just tested it out today and just said, write me 1,200 words of crypto news today with passion and humor. And it'll give me all of the articles, but it won't kind of amalgamate it together in a, you know what I mean? So I'd have to click one by one on all the sources. So I kind of wanted to see if, is it going to be kind of like a ChatGPT going forward, whereby you can write a prompt saying, write me 1,200s of such and such crypto project or news over the past week, and it won't give me news for like a month ago. Like the parameters kind of are questionable. So it'll give me news from like 2, 3, 4 weeks ago instead of that current week, so that I can then generate a script and work on the editing and so on. If that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, I can pick up like I think most of those items. Yeah, let me know if I will miss anything. Yes, like first of all, regarding search command works exactly like you use Google when you like just type, I don't know, like AI tokens or like artificial intelligence or Trump crypto, whatever, like just like search terms, and it will spit you relevant stuff in chronological order. So like from the newest to the oldest ones. We like previously we actually didn't have like a lot of feedback on like B2C side. So folks from Airwave using this feature like through the API, and we primarily developed it for them. And we added it for Telegram bot simply because we can. Like it was like interesting who will pick it up this feature, and actually first. So it's like really interesting to like finally understand the use case for it. But like right now it works like in a very simple way. But when you just type like some search queries, so like if you will type something like give me 18,000 words, it will start like searching about like, okay, what are the news that I mentioned in 90,000 words? Like what are the news that I mentioned in give me, etc. So like that's probably like not exactly the thing that you were meant to find. Another thing is that like remember like this for everyone, remember that we have like /feedback command, and like whenever you see something you're like not happy with, just like reply to this command with like /feedback, and like if optionally write anything like message for the context that like something should be improved. and this way, like we'll see it, and we'll of course like work on it. Regarding search, like the model like mentioning that like it's not being able to find something. I see there like two options why this could be the case. So like first of all, make sure that you're using like the ticker for some specific token, because like it improves search this way, like it searches for ticker or contract address, not just the name, because like due to the fact that we have like really obscure names like 911 or Gitardio or Nigabat, etc., it's kind of hard for like a large language model to consistently always like figure out the exact like name, and sometimes like it contains typos, etc., like wrong formatting. So for example, like previous like PAL has upgraded their contract, and like the issues that like they had $2 signs in their name previously. Well, whatever. So like first of all, make sure that you're using the sign like hashtag or contract address. If you have any issues, like just reach out to us like immediately using feedback or group chat or DMs, whatever is the most convenient way, and we'll address this. And what was like, yeah, and like regarding this part with like no information available, it could be that you have used like ask detailed command, and this is like a temporarily like kind of UX feature or UX like issue. Ask detailed actually leads you to ask2, and like ask2 is actually like not detailed, but like on the contrary, it returns like sort of like ask2 returns like shorter questions, not more answers, not more detailed ones. And second, it returns the data it's like 100% confident in. This is like a mechanism that basically like protects you from hallucinations of the network. So like it could be that you like used as detailed, and you'll probably like deprecate it quite soon in favor like of only keeping like ask2 as default, as I mentioned like in the very beginning like of the CMA. But yeah, another issue with like 18,000 words or like 100 whatever is that like Telegram like itself is simply like not really suited for this. So like Telegram, for example, has a limit of 4K letters, 4K characters per message, and that's like on average like 700 words, no more than that. And yeah, I guess like chatbots are generally not the best user experience for such kind of copywriting tasks. And
Johnny, if I can ask you to clarify, are you copywriting? When you say scripts, are you talking about like shill scripts or like video scripts? Are you trying to start a YouTube video?
Yes, exactly, correct. So no, 1,800 is the amount. So for example, there's the video script component. Obviously, that's one big component of it, right? But you got to add your own twists and do all the other stuff. So for early stage AI projects or news, that was what I was focusing on. So, but yeah, you're right, Vlad. I think 700 is kind of where it doesn't really give me the 1,200 or anything even remotely close. But yeah, I'll make those modifications, and you're right. I gotta use the what you mentioned about the detail feature. I'll make the changes and advise you. But yeah, it's a big market because people are paying $30-$40 for something called Tube Magic to help them with the AI script, and then they're going because then you spend all your time on editing, adding your touch to it, because that takes a lot of your time, right? Yeah. No one has the time to do the entire script, but that's where the huge hole is. No one has any information in real time in regarding junior AI projects like Spectre AI, PAL, AlphaKek. Like if you were to tell them, write me 100 words on the latest news regarding PAL AI, no one can do that. Right, so that takes all. So if the individual that's able to generate that the quickest and put together a video and put it out there, you know what I mean? That's a huge use case.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah, now I remember like one thing that I hasn't mentioned yet. So the irony, I don't remember if you. I'm not sure if you are early enough or not. So like we used to have this tag, but we kind of like not lost it. We like deliberately disabled it. So like about half a year ago, we temporarily disabled this from reports, like arbitrary search for like any extra sources, due to the reason that it was too slow for users. So as I said, it was possible that it would take like 15 minutes or like 20 minutes, etc., etc. So like it was like grabbing lots of new information and like real-time stuff, up-to-date stuff, but it was also like incredibly slow. And since then we update both our models and our GPUs, and we are gonna like bring it back, not to reports, but to like ask to. And this time it will have like not just arbitrary search, but also Twitter data as well. Like some basic one, like not a lot of stuff, but Twitter data as well. And actually, okay, it's like 20 minutes ago, so I mentioned that I have an idea of how to like upgrade TLDR command even further, and like I didn't want to like share details, but since we are like already talking about this, the idea is to like create a TLDR command that like can give you a TLDR not just of some website, but a TLDR of crypto project, and like later on probably crypto wallets as well. So the idea is that like you type TLDR and then like insert like contract address or its like ticker, and it will show you like it will give you like a TLDR on the whole project, on their social media, on their website, on their docs, on their token, like whatever else info we can find, etc., etc. And the biggest issue is that like the biggest issue that we had is that it's simply like compute intensive. There is like a lot of information you need to source, etc., etc. And like previously we had like this system partially when it was using just web search, but it was like incredibly slow. Now we reached the point when we can like run it faster. So we'll start rolling it out like after the alerts. So it will be like somewhere along with the agents, I think. Yes, like
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that
long
was
story
before
short,
my time, and that's exactly what I was looking for. What you just mentioned, that's exactly it. Yeah.
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 Hey,
So
Johnny.
yeah, I will improve like the user experience a little bit on this side. So like previously, the way reports worked is that like you would just like getting the message shown like wait, and well, it was shown like processing like 30 sources wait, like processing like 80 sources wait, and that's it. In the next iteration, like so, like we will bring back search. We will add like a combination of like social search and on-chain data, and we will also try to make it like generate output like gradually and like refine it over time, kind of like this new GPT does when it does this like thinking stuff, and you could see how it thinks, and then you get the result, and like we'll probably add some similar functionality as well. Yeah, so that's the plan. It's just like a bit lower priority than alerts right now, because like the idea is to include alerts into like data sources for this new system like as well. So there will be like alerts, our like custom on-chain data, just like default on-chain data, like what we already have. Any kind of like off-chain data we already have in Fractal, and like social medias and like documentation website of this specific site that we like populate dynamically. And of course, like once we populate it once, we'll be able to reuse it for all the subsequent like users requests, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, Johnny, I think your content creation process is quite similar to what mine was when I was writing commentary for like Web2 investors. I think it's very hard to find like an all-in-one like AI solution for like grabbing small projects, information, analyzing them, getting a TLDR, all the way through like the content creation, and then all the way through the script writing. I think it's okay to kind of utilize different, AIs and, chat bots for different solutions. Personally, I think ChatGPT like 4.0 is pretty good for content creation, especially writing scripts, right? So I use that a lot for like publishing. I think a simple way to explain it is AlphaKek is better at reading and detecting information, not necessarily writing information. That's not really our use case. It can obviously, but that's not what it's optimized for. So yeah, I would recommend like segmenting your different use cases. We're really good like diving deep into the trenches, into all these different data sources, including DEX trades and things like that, and trying to conveniently like mine out like some alpha. Besides going like into the forums like Biz or like Reddit and stuff, and into the trenches. But then that needs to be enriched, right? Once you have that content, that needs to be enriched into like another format. So yeah, you can always use another different solution for that. It doesn't have to be all in one.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So that AI news stay up to date with real-time news aggregation that impacts crypto coming soon. Is that totally different? That on the doc site, that AI news search tab.
Yeah, let me give a quick background on that. So I think we can disclose this now, but we've been talking to Runes protocol, not a partner, but an acquaintance, collaborator, and AI search came out of that collaboration. We essentially created probably the most comprehensive Runes protocol knowledge base, like probably in the world, right? I think we initially like manually searched for all the different sources and defined all the different pipelines of Runes data, from like their on-chain data to news to YouTube videos to Magic Eden NFTs on Runes, even like their founder, Corey, what's his name? It's been a while. But yeah, exactly, yeah. So his blog, his all his publications. So through that process, we built this massive knowledge base of Rune stuff, which is automatically being replenished. So I don't even know how much docs and data are in there. It's probably a lot. I think 2 or 3 articles get added every single day. But we needed a way to actually showcase how big that knowledge base was. So we created this AI search function, which looks into Fractal and basically itemizes every single source for that particular topic. So if we just type in Runes or Runes protocol or a project on Runes, it'll spit out an entire list of sources for Fractal, for our knowledge base. So we extended that to other queries as well. And I guess Vladimir, maybe you can disclose like when we're planning to work on that. I mean, the tech's there. It's just a matter of prioritizing it based on like demand.
Yeah, actually it started like as I mentioned with Airview guys, like not Runes. Yeah, and the search works. Yeah, it just works like in a specific way. Where like you type search query, like where you type keywords, and I get like the list of news pieces about like those keywords, and they are sorted by date, and you can get like sentiment score and like impact score for each of them. Yeah, that's the way it works. So like kind of like Google, like, but it also provides you like a sentiment score.
Yeah, so I guess
and if you're using API, aside from this, it also like provides a TLDR. So like you can like immediately get like TLDR of 5 recent news regarding like any topic you want, and like their sentiment.
Hey John, let's take it offline in terms of like ETA, because we can try to put some priority on it if it's helpful for you.
Thank you very much, both of you. I really appreciate it. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, pleasure, man.
Thanks,
dude. Yeah, maybe I'll speed run through marketing Vladimir, or did you want to have something else you want to discuss first? Okay, great. So yeah, marketing, I'll just go down the list. Rebrand is looking amazing. We essentially finished the branding and our new website mockup. So we're just putting some final touches on it. Content, messaging, some visual components need to be created still, video, animations type of thing. So we're waiting on that from our motion graphics guy. And yeah, I'm guessing ETA to go into development within a few weeks. But then it has to be developed, right? So we have our in-house web developers that can handle that. But yeah, through the process was a great experience because, we had to really dive deep into like what the project is, what AlphaKek is, what our mission statement is, what our messaging is. And, we're growing so fast in terms of products and stuff that it's like constantly changing as well. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll go over the mission statement a little bit later, but the next topic is, yeah, I guess we're getting ready for Token 2049. It's a massive event. I didn't realize how big it was. I mean, I went last year in Singapore, and I didn't go to any side events, but there's actually like over like 700 side events. We got a long list from some of our friends at Friends DAO who gave us a list, and we've applied to as many as possible that are relevant to us. But yeah, you have side events hosted by exchanges, by meme coins, by all sorts of DeFi, RWA, AI projects. There's a lot of like AI side events now, so which is great because it's going to be a great place for us to network and meet potential partners, potential clients. Actually, the Generati, that project you were referring to, that the meme generator that we're going to release, that big base project, they have an event as well, which we'll be going to. Well, they have they sponsored an event, yeah. So we'll be going to this meme coin party by them. There's a Milady's party, which I'm looking forward to. So this doesn't have to be a secret, but we are working on a Milady AI, right? We've already finished Remilio AI. So we're just going to keep going through the Remilio Corporation ecosystem because we sort of have that process down. So we want to get that done ASAP for that party, and then yeah, there's a lot of AI projects. Actually, Near Protocol is doing a lot of AI. I mean, I was really impressed by Near's investment into like building out AI infrastructure. So we'll be talking to them as well. And those are just the side events. So we're going to probably about like, we registered for about 40 side events. We can realistically probably only go to like half of those. And that doesn't include the conferences that we're going to. So we're going to Token 2049. We're going to Solana Breakpoint. We're going to Network State, which is created by Balaji, this like analyst, OG crypto Bitcoin analyst. But yeah, some big names at Network State. There's Brian Armstrong, Coinbase, Vitalik speaking. Yeah, some big names there. Yeah, Solana Breakpoint should be interesting. We're meeting up with Fuxi, who did Nikati Maker. Yeah, we have a couple of Solana vendors that we want to talk to there as well. But yeah, it's nice to have such a big variety of services that we offer or products. Right, we can network with artists. Right, if they want to scale their artwork through an NFT launch, we can talk to memes. Right, if any big meme projects want to do a custom AI, any application that has AI integrated, whether it's OpenAI or Anthropic API, we can talk to them. Any platform that wants to build out an AI roadmap, we can talk to them. Blockchains, ecosystems that want to invest in AI, that are giving out grants, we'll talk to them. So yeah, it's going to be a good networking event, and we'll be there from the 16th through, well, I'll be there a little bit longer. I'll be there for like a week and a half. So yeah, all day, all night we'll be networking. Anything I forgot, Vladimir, on the topic of 2049?
I think that's quite comprehensive.
Yeah, great. We are running Twitter ads, so this is not something I've been able to focus on, but we'll be scaling up our ads very soon, especially when the rebrand comes out. We'll be running ads for every single thing we offer, right? So alerts, the chatbot, enterprise, right, on the API side, for all the APIs. We could run ads for every meme that we've created AI for as well, because those, can approach different communities. So, we can actually target by like accounts or by sort of like influencers who are focused on those communities. So we'll be doing a lot more paid advertising in the near future. We have a questing program in the pipeline as well. So we have a partnership with AFI Network. They specialize in on-chain questing programs. So they help you track on-chain activities, actions to reward, our community or to bring on new community members. We do have a solution for off-chain, so like social media. Like if we were trying to incentivize more sharing of memes generated by AlphaKek, we can do that, and we could create like an incentive program. And we could actually even track if the user has generated that particular image from, if someone posts on social media an image, a meme that was generated by AlphaKek, we can actually validate in the group chat if they had generated it in our group chat. So that's a way to like mitigate like farming of questing rewards. So yeah, some good solutions there. Yeah, I guess that's it for marketing wise. Anybody have any questions? Maybe there were questions in the group. Raymond had a question about tokenomics. We'll discuss tokenomics at the end of the AMA. Degenerati had other questions here. No. So yeah, that's it for marketing. Yeah, do we want to move on to community?
Yeah, one moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Raymond asked, how do the revenues from custom meme generators affect tokenomics? So I think we should take a step back and explain like what our tokenomics are and like how actually we launched. Because, as we move forward, especially after rebrand, we want to create a good thesis for why to buy the token, right? It should be very clear to people when they look at the project, how they can benefit from owning the token, and how the project's growth affects the token and helps the token. Right? So every client we bring on, every revenue we generate, how is this going to help the token? So I think that token needs to be like very clear, like you are essentially owning a piece of AI and crypto, right? This is your stake in the future of AI in crypto. That's essentially what we're doing, right? We are sort of like your R&D arm of AI and crypto. So yeah, fair launch. I wasn't around during the launch. I came in maybe like a few weeks later, but I bought all my tokens from a DEX, right? I bought it publicly, like everybody else. When I think AlphaKek's launch is very close to how you would define a fair launch. A fair launch means that it's inclusive, not in a woke, kind of context, but all participants had an equal chance to buy their tokens at launch, including the team, any KOLs, et cetera, to prevent preferential treatment. So it's an open token sale, no pre-sale. That's the main distribution method. 100% of the tokens were available to the community during launch. And that ensures decentralization, good wallet distribution. You could take a look at our holder distribution, very healthy. And actually, a lot of the team, they don't really own that many tokens. It's because we have a token tax, right? So the project benefits from a token tax, which doesn't rely on us having, you look at these other launches, other projects, they're playing a lot of games with bundling and holding through multiple wallets. We have a clean token. It was launched cleanly and it was distributed fairly. So this just really helps amplify our deflationary tokenomics, and that's something we want to communicate better moving forward. How well the token was launched and distributed, and how beneficial the deflationary tokenomics are moving forward. As we bring in more revenue, as we do more buyback and burns. Do you want to provide some context, Vladimir, to how we launched, since I wasn't here?
Yeah, I think the key difference is that if the most of the value of the project is locked, for you as for developer, is locked in your stake of tokens. That means that your specific your own objectives should be to pump the tokens to some specific point of time, dump your share, and move on. And for example, we just had it with, for example, Friend Tech, who got I don't remember,
44 million.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so they got money, and after they sold their amount of tokens, they don't have any incentives to stay in the game. And in our case, it was So basically, the moment you reach the peak and you sell at peak, you don't have any incentive to move the project forward. And that's not the case for us. So it was designed from the very beginning, the other way around. So our key source of revenue is a tax. And that means that we are interested in pushing the project for as long as possible and grow and not just trying to reach some peak and then dump, but grow and sustain the big size, so to say, to get higher volume, to stay bigger, have more users, etc. as well. Because just keeping pushing the project is consistently profitable for us, and this way our goals and the goals of the community of token holders are more aligned, because we are not interested into inherently the idea of that pumping a token is sooner or later you will dump on your holders. So yeah, I personally was buying tokens for airdrops and for basically partnerships for wasted tokens to potential partners, and that's how I mostly using my own share. I have 1.1% of tokens right now. I had more, but yeah, just give it to partners, and I will buy back when I will see the opportunity, but it will also go towards just having token related partnerships. And yeah, really eager to see how it's going, because we're certainly reaching the breaking point, and from here we just have so many cool stuff and features coming together. So website redesign that we haven't really touched today, but it's in its final phases, and it's extremely dope. And alerts and upcoming agents and more data sources and Twitter integration, and we are getting more and more potential new partnerships. It's really interesting to see how things are starting to ramp up on literally every direction we've been working for the past months. That's cool.
Yeah, so I just want to establish the token's history and how well it's been distributed, and how fairly it was launched. No weird allocations to KOLs or insiders. Every team member had to buy in. So here we are. Now we have this deflationary tokenomics that helps decrease supply. So I think the way we want to present this is the token is helping you be at the forefront of AI innovation, right, in crypto. And there's two parts to the deflationary growth. There's the buyback and burn, and then there's the revenue side. So Raymond asked about the revenue side. The revenue, well, first of all, there's different types of revenue. There's the token tax, obviously. That goes towards buyback and burn. right? There's a 4% token tax. There's API sales. There's B2B services, which you mentioned, custom meme generators. There's going to be alpha alerts. So once that starts generating, profit, essentially everything we do that generates profits. Oh, there'll be like affiliate commissions too, because we'll be building out a network of different companies and projects that will be mentioned, in our answers, right? Our alerts and our answers. So there could be, affiliate type of ad revenue coming in. That's all going to be counted towards the revenue for the buyback and burns. And essentially you are reducing supply, and that helps future buy pressure.
Yeah, and for providing liquidity.
And providing liquidity, yes. So that's deflationary growth. On the utility side, the token has 3 different utilities: governance, premium features, which is very clear, right? So we're trying to clean up that funnel of like what you get if you buy more tokens, and we're trying to expand that funnel to more users, to the free tier users, with a lifetime cap. So as we roll out new features and new products, those benefits will be a lot more clear to hodler tier, premium tier, elite tier. We're going to be adding a lot more benefits to all those tiers in the near future. So yeah, you get access to the governance, to the premium features, and then API credits. But I think the overall sort of message for the token is that it's your ownership in the future of AI. It's a way to outsource all the expertise and all the R&D to us, and help you stay on the cutting edge of AI and using it for crypto, for your trading, for your your content, like Johnny mentioned, whatever endeavor you're working on. Great. Yeah, we're running like about an hour and a half in, so or is it 2 hours? Oh, it's 2 hours.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, we should probably end soon. Let's open up the floor to any last minute questions. And
I think next time we should start from our earlier. That's all right. Yeah. While we are waiting for questions, I have like one silly thing to confess. I'm wearing my old OpenAI t-shirt right now. I'm
Nice.
not sure if everyone still like remembers Codex. Codex is like the stuff that like GitHub Copilot currently powers. Yeah, this is like a really interesting story. It's like I was one of the private beta testers of like OpenAI Codex, and it was like roughly the time that we started to see those weird shifts on OpenAI. So like previously we had like this issue with like GPT-3 being completely closed, and with OpenAI Codex there was like a really interesting precedent. So I was one of the private beta testers of their API, and Codex like was like their first model that was trained to like understand both the code and English text, and like make like unified embeddings for both, and make similarity search, etc. And the interesting thing about this is that like when they realized, maybe like when they reach partnership with GitHub, whatever, at some point of time during this beta test, they just sent an email saying like we shut down the API in 2 days, and that's it. And since then it was like no was available publicly. It's like a really interesting thing. Like nowadays people are kind of forgot about this, but I think like we should remember that there was a precedent when they released like a preview model. It was really great, and it was like so great that they actually like, started providing public access to it.
Vladimir, did you see that question from Chicken Little?
Where?
I think he DM'd you.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but I answered. Yeah, I answered him.
Oh, you answered it? Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand whether he wants to keep it in private just between us.
Oh, he got his answer. Yeah, he got his answer. Yeah.
Hey guys, I have just one small question, if it's okay.
Hey,
I know it's
Darth.
very late. I know it's very late.
No,
but
no worries.
Yeah, about this processing power, I mean the compute and storage, right? As we expand to move on to more blockchains and take up more features, will that be an issue? I know right now we are running our own GPUs and all. I'm no expert on that, but will that be sufficient when we expand and offer more features, include more users and all?
Yeah, so like first of all, we'll be like having more value. So like eventually you will be like getting more data, but also more value. But the key thing is that like there is a power of scale. So basically, the bigger is your scale, the less you pay for one unit of like whatever you're scaling. And yeah, the funny thing is that like the most right now we are actually at the bottom of like this like scale efficiency. So it's not that we'll be having issues when we scale like with like this pricing efficiency. We're having those issues right now, and we are still like all right and like going through those like months of bear market like absolutely well. So yeah, the moment we'll scale, it actually will get like better for us, because like once the scale, like it's not just we'll be storing more data, we'll be like providing much more services to people, and we'll like have more users eventually. And basically, the more users we have, the cheaper it will be to run all this stuff. But yeah, long story short, like it's all right. And another interesting thing is that like actually most of the compute resources that we are like spending right now are being consumed by the chat. So like LLMs are still like extremely resource hungry, and like just the chat consumes like more compute power than everything else combined. So like all the like models for visuals we have, like search, whatever else, they're like not, and like alerts, they're not consuming as much like resources as just the chat. So like, yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is that like our most inefficient point is like happening right now. And like from now on, it will be like only getting better, because like we are in the worst position right now, and even in the worst position, we are like doing absolutely great. Yes, like we are stable, etc. Yeah, and basically, this is kind of like the answer to the question about like Twitter stuff. So like this like it doesn't work for Twitter like this like scaling part, because like Elon charges us the same money for every request, so we can scale as easy. But for everything resource related, yeah, it's like works in a way that like the more users you have, the cheaper it is. And like from my experience of working like for example with Amazon and other cloud providers like on enterprise level, when you're like a really great like big player who like makes really huge orders, and all that, like for some specific like cloud services, Amazon could make up to 95% discount like for some stuff. So like, I can't like disclose like what the scale should be, but yeah, it's just like crazy. Like they have some specific services that like if you order them in bulk, like in their cloud, and like we are not using like Amazon, but just to understand, so like they are the most expensive like cloud service provider, and even they like despite being like the most expensive, they can like give you 95% discount, because like that's how scaling works. And yeah, basically that's it. It's like it will be like all right, and like once it's scaled, it will be getting like better and better.
Okay, already. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.